over $26,000 on my solar panels, and I've had a lot of people ask me about them.
In a solar lease contract, and we're having some issues because we're trying to sell our house.
Did a lease? Did you say you did a lease on this? You need a lawyer.
For the love of God, stop putting solar panels on your house unless you're paying cash.
It is shocking how much solar panel debt there is out there. And it's one of the worst debts that people are accumulating in real estate. One, it just messes up the deals. Two, sometimes people are selling for negative equity. And I hear time and time again some of the predatory sales tactics that some of these people are using. And in many cases, people wind up losing money on the properties they put solar panels on. So let's talk about how you can not lose money. I've done a lot of videos, how to get out of it, and my opinion as a real estate agent, what you should be doing. Because this stuff can be very tricky. Let's get right to it.
I owe a little over $26,000 on my solar panels, and I've had a lot of people ask me about them, so let's talk about it. My ex-husband and I moved into this house back in 2020, and it was a new build neighborhood, so we had a ton of salespeople coming around trying to sell things to us. The ceilings in this house are really, really high, and so on average, our electric bill was $200 plus a month. And I live in Idaho. I don't know if that helps with the cost of power or anything. But we basically have one power company that services everyone around here, and so they can charge whatever they want. Back in 2020, the government was trying to do this whole push to get everyone on solar panels. And so they were offering like 25% of the cost of your solar panels. They would refund you in taxes over the next couple of years. So ultimately, the cost of the solar panels would have been like $21,000, something like that. It's been a while since all of this went down. Unfortunately, things happened with my marriage, and the money from the government that came through on that first year of taxes, which was like $5,000 or $6,000, was used for other things that were not in my control. There's a reason why I got divorced. Though the solar panels on my house do cover all of my electricity every single month, we just pay like an $8 connection fee or something like that each month. And the solar panels cover that too. Did the math, and if we stay here for 11 or 12 years, the solar panels will end up paying for themselves. So if I was paying $200 a month over the course of 11 years, that would be the cost of the solar panels. We've been here for 5. I'm thinking we're probably gonna...
Don't forget to add in maintenance, interest on the loan, how many days you didn't have sun, and if it adjusted your insurance cost on your house at all. There's many other factors to whether you're getting a return rate on these solar panels than just $200, the amount on the note. We're spacing this interest rate out over 10, 15, 20 years. This is where it comes out to be a problem.
Stay here, and so they'll save us money in the long run, but right now it is kind of frustrating that I have to pay so much on solar panels. The solar panels were originally financed over the course of the home loan for 25 years, but my goal is to just get rid of any kind of payment way sooner than that, which is why I kind of lumped them in with my debt payoff stuff. So my car, my student loans, and my solar panels are my main focus.
Remember, at 20 years, the solar panels are going to be at term. They're going to be old tech, and they're probably not going to be producing 100%, more like 80. Last house that I sold that had old solar panels on, they were not producing at the rate you thought they would, and they had to be taken off to put the new roof on, and then you had to factor in the cost of taking them off to put the new roof on. I think it was like maybe $200 a panel to take them off, put them back on, and the hurricane had damaged some of them, and there was all that, because it's like one big sail on top of a house. You got to look at all the aspects, especially if you're putting them on an old roof. Don't do that.
So my husband and I are in a solar lease contract, and we're having some issues because we're trying to sell our house. We've had 7 offers back out, and we've come out of escrow twice for our house because of the solar contract. We were told before we signed the contract that if we were to sell our house, then the new buyers would be able to renegotiate their contract. And if they didn't want to, then the company would remove the panels. Or we could take the panels with us to wherever we were moving next, or we could buy the panels out. Those were our 3 options. Well, we are both active duty military, and we'll be moving to Texas in July.
Okay, so they told you all of those things. Is any of that not in the actual contract?
Remember, in real estate, if it is not in writing, it did not exist. He said, she said, has lost people tons of money. Remember that. Don't ever believe anything anybody says. You make sure it's in an email, in a contract, in writing. preferably with a signature right beside it, or initials. And if you're having any questions on this, I happen to be a real estate agent here on the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama, and I'd be happy to help you buy or sell real estate on the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama. And if you're anywhere in the country and you need a real estate agent, I can help you find one. Just email me down below and I can help you.
No, it's not.
Okay, so it didn't happen then.
Only,
What does the contract actually say? You just owe them a set amount of money, right?
yeah, so the options for the contract were a ballooning payment over the next 20 years or a set payment, which would have start off a little bit higher but not changed for that amount of
There's
time.
not a payoff amount just to pay them off?
So their early buyout option isn't an option until 6 years into your contract. But the option that they're giving us right now to buy it out is $78,000. The system itself, if you were to buy one outright brand new, is only $25,000.
So you did a lease. Did you say you did a lease on this?
Yes, we did.
Oh, jeez. Okay. What a mess.
So the option that they're giving us to buy out right now is what the contract is worth to the investors, which is about $78,000.
Okay. So can you not pay it off as a part of the sale of the house?
No, we cannot, because that's $78,000. And we won't be making that much money on the house.
How much will you be making on the house?
We're looking at about $40,000.
Profit.
Yeah.
With the solar panels on the house.
If we can get somebody to take the current contract.
No, I'm just saying, if you leave the solar panels on the house is only worth enough to put $40,000 in your pocket.
That is correct.
And that's with paying the solar company nothing.
Correct.
Okay.
Do not lease solar panels. When you take them off and they say you can take them with you, who's fixing all the holes in the roof? This happens a lot to the elderly. I have seen this happen about 4 or 5 times where solar companies come through, they get them to sign this lease, they put them on there, and what they've basically done is they've just caught you. You can't run away from this situation. And in a situation like this, you're going to wind up paying them a large sum of money just to get out of it. They have figured this stuff out, and solar companies are going to wind up owning a lot of real estate in the United States because of all these solar panel leases, contracts, loans. It's a real problem, and nobody wants to talk about it. They just want to sell you the panels.
You need a lawyer. You need a lawyer, and you're probably going to give your $40,000 of equity to the solar company to settle the contract and leave the solar panels on the house and walk away. You lost your equity when you did this deal.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can get them to take $40,000 to settle on the 78 today, my God, you must have covered the whole house in solar panels.
We did. The electricity out here in Hawaii is pretty expensive. We were paying $600 a month in electricity with...
Yeah, it's still a really, really bad idea to do this.
You don't have an attorney, they do. Lawyers are expensive, and you didn't factor that into your return, that maybe one day you have to have a lawyer to get you out of this. Average retainer on small stuff for an attorney is $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000, depending on what you're trying to do. And then they know that it's going to take you time and money to get out of this. And that's what they figured out, that you'll just pay your way out. Because most of the time, people don't catch us till the end of a transaction. You've been looking at it 45, 60 days. You probably bought a house somewhere else, or you got to buy a house somewhere else. And here is the solar panel company with this little lien or whatever on top of your property. And they wind up getting it. They wind up getting a payoff. That's the way this stuff works.
I mean, the only time solar panels work is if you pay cash for them. And they do work if you pay cash for them, but never, ever.
That's so true. You got to pay cash for them. I've talked about this many times in my videos on the proper way of doing this. Pay cash for them. Don't put them on your house. Put them in a side yard. Put them in a shed. Put them somewhere else than on top of your roof. Make sure they follow your insurance company guidelines. Make sure you do everything possible, because if they get destroyed and they're not insured, or your house gets hurt or burned down because the solar panels weren't put on properly, who's going to pay for your house? There's so many things to think about in this that you really got to take this stuff seriously. Then when you go to sell the property, who wants to actually buy the panels? And can they assume the loan? That's why loans are the problem. Not the panels, if you do it with cash, it's the loans. It's the secondary mortgage. It's the secondary loan. Those are the problems. That's the problem.
For the love of God, stop putting solar panels on your house unless you're paying cash. I cannot physically handle it anymore. I just had a client that had to bring $34,000 to the closing table in order to pay off their solar panel loan. I feel physically ill over that. It adds no value. Zero value. Buyers don't care. Appraisers don't care. Mortgage companies don't care. They're not going to add value to your house.
You want to see a real estate agent run? Is tell them that there is a loan on the solar panels on your house, and then you want top dollar for it, and you don't have the money to pay the panels off. I had a client not too long ago. They had a house that was 2 years old with brand new builds next to it. They had put solar panels on top of it. They wanted the same price as the new build. The new build was, which is the exact same house, just built a year or two later. The new build had a new warranty. It had a buy down, a credit, had all these things coming along with the house. They wanted the same price for their house in order to break even to get out and go to where they were having to move to. Well, they had a $40,000 second note on top of it for solar panels. So they were going to have to sell the house for like $260 minus closing costs. So it's going to be well below $260. They had 2 brand new cars sitting in the driveway and no money. And I was like, welcome to foreclosure, because you can't pay for your way out, because you can't pay at the closing table to bring 40 grand. Your house is not worth enough to pay it out of the equity. Nobody wants to assume the note for the solar panels because, one, they'd have to qualify for $40,000 more than the $300,000 for the house. They're not going to pay them off at the closing table. So what is it you want to do? The house is unsellable. It's stuck. Are you going to give it back to them? Can't pay your way out. The house is unsellable, and you have to drop the listing. So an agent knows the house is unsellable. You got to know these things. You got to know your numbers of your property when you purchase it, and then sticking solar. And I could tell that one solar panel salesman had gotten the entire neighborhood, because you go in the neighborhood and you just see a wall of the same thing on the same type of house, because they're all cookie cutter all the way down, and they've all got these solar panels. I'm like, yeah, congratulations, your solar is $20 a month, okay? And then you've got a 25-year note on these solar panels, and the warranty, they're not going to be warranted. The solar company is going to be gone in 20 years, okay? Whenever you need these things warranted, good luck. They change these solar panels out, these solar panel companies out so much that you can never figure out who the warranty is with. It's crazy.
The process of negotiating on another house, it's a great deal, but they've got a $44,000 balance on their solar panels. They have a shingle roof on this house and it needs to be changed. And they've got 1 million solar panels up there. It's so frustrating. Payments $286 a month for the rest of my life to buy this thing, and it quits the deal. So many of these companies selling solar, not all of them, but a lot of them, go in and it's all about the payment. We can save you money on your electric bill, and they do this thing where they factor out how much your electricity goes up and how much you'll be paying 20 years from now. These people just get stuck like Chuck all the time. They get to the closing table with somebody like me and they want me to pay an extra $44,000, and I'm not doing it. It's nuts.
Go down the TikTok rabbit hole of solar panel salesmen and the way they coach these guys to sell these things to you. It is unbelievable. I mean, this is just a snapshot of what a buyer is going to think about when he's looking at your property. You've got 1 million holes in the roof up there that they just shot some silicone in, and they will eventually leak. Are they even attached to the rafters and not just the decking? Are they installed right? Are the roofers now knowing do they know how to install solar panels? Take them off. And then if something goes wrong with them and you have to take them off, you're going to still be paying that note every month on those solar panels, whether they're producing power or not. So you could have a situation in the scope of the 15 years that you could go a year or two or 6 months or whatever of the system not even working. I did a video on I showed a video on my last video of a solar panel system that had been up for years and wasn't even producing. Wasn't even producing right. Wasn't even hooked up right. And name half these electrical inspectors that are inspecting this work and electricians installing it don't even know how the system's supposed to be done. You are holding your breath that it's installed correctly.
I'm here to talk about a company called Sanuso Solar Companies and Greenleaf Lending Company. They came into my elderly in-laws' homes, which they do all over DFW, and came to promote a free solar company provided by the government for assistance for elderly people. They said you don't have to pay, it's all free, it's government financed. Then the representative has you sign a contract. So the contract wasn't even signed by my in-laws. It was on an iPad. It wasn't even signed by them. Guess who signed it? The representative. The lawyer saw the contract timestamps, and from the moment that the whole contract was signed to the moment it was closed, less than 1 minute. So she signed it for them. My in-laws were home alone. And if you have a parent, just in general, you understand that they do not understand that stuff. Like, it's so easy for someone to come into their home and for them to be trustworthy, especially if it's another Hispanic person coming in to talk to you. Currently, our in-laws are being forced to pay $41,000 for 40 solar panels that they cannot use, because in the city of Garland, the law says that you can only have 15 solar panels, and they installed 40. Like, they don't even know the city laws, and they've sold them 40 that we can't even use. The lien that they get the house, and then they sell the house to get paid. And then this is not the first time that this happened. They're doing it all over DFW. If you go look at the reviews, it's happening all over DFW. We've tried everything to get out of the contract, out of the loan, out of everything. We even hired one of the best lawyers in Dallas who has like gotten angry with us because she's like, there's no way out. These people have their butts covered for everything. We can, however, is tag every news station on here so we can get on the news and get these people out of business. Like, this is so wrong in so many levels.
What's crazy too is a lot of this stuff is done digitally, and it's hard to tell a lot. And digital contracts has helped real estate a ton, but in a situation like this, it's gotten really bad. I did a deal not too long ago where I was on the buy side, and there was a contract on the house already when they put it up on the MLS, and they didn't tell anybody. And what had happened was that, I guess, a wholesaler operating from a foreign country with an LLC in this country, probably a fake LLC, they just said they had an LLC, wrote a contract digitally, had them sign it digitally, and recorded it at the clerk of the court. And you may say, oh, well, it's not a valid contract, but it clouds title. Okay, and that's what a lot of these solar companies will do. They'll get a contract, record it, cloud the title, hem up the deal, and in order to get out of these deals, you've got to pay, or you've got to go through some type of really expensive court process, quiet title action, whatever, or to try to clear up some of these issues. Not a lawyer, I'm just saying this is how this stuff winds up working out. And they prey on the elderly because they don't know. There's no representation in the deal, and they're selling a very large product, often at a very high interest rate, and then they force feed you on it, and then they sue you. And it's sad, and this is happening everywhere.
Solar panels, I had heard so many good things about solar panels, about getting credits and your light bill being low, and sometimes I'm having to pay you because whatever. I was just hearing good things about the solar panels. So I was like, okay, so that's a plus with this house. So we get a week away from closing, and my realtor says, basically, you have to assume the loan on the panels, the solar panels, to be able to close on this house. So I'm like, okay. Mind you, at this time, like, I had already sold my house. My house is sold, and I'm staying with my mom until I close on my house. I was like, it's only going to be like a week of me having to be with her until I move into my new house. So, mind you, I am like feeling like I'm kind of desperate right now. And so I'm like, okay, so whatever we got to do to get into the house. So I go through with the process of applying for the solar panel loan, and I got denied. So I'm kind of like, what? Like, how I just get denied? I just got approved for a house that's almost $400,000. I had just bought a car prior to that, fresh off the lot, 0 mileage, my credit was good, so why did I get denied? I was like, you know what, whatever. What do I need to do now? So basically, they said that I had to pay the solar panels off just to be able to close on the house, period.
She needed a better real estate agent. She has been set up for failure. And this is why good agents are who they are. Not all of them are the same. She should have known going in there, that agent should have already explained it to her, the solar panels. It says on the MLS, it should say on the MLS whether there's a loan on them or not, and if they can assume them. 3, they should have talked to her about don't buy a car when you're buying a house. If you are buying a property, or you're buying anything with a mortgage that has an underwriter, and you want to buy another large something during that process, you better not do it, because that underwriter, if he sees another debt on your credit report immediately within the transaction, he's going to deny you. But that real estate agent should have told her, you are not going to assume this loan on the buy side. If I could say anything, pick your real estate agent wisely. She needed better representation, and she's about to get burned because she didn't get good representation.
So I'm like, I'm not finna pay everything. Like, the seller is going to have to pay something. Technically, this is your loan right now, and they got the panels put on the house. Like, it didn't come with the house; they got to put on the house, and they already knew that they had this loan with the solar panels. So you're going to pay something. We ended up negotiating something. They paid something on it. I don't know how much. I don't know if it was half. I can't remember what it was, but I do know that by the time they finished paying what they paid, I had to pay $25,000 cash money, like not in pieces, but $25,000 cash money. I had to bring that to the closing table.
It's terrible. That's terrible. Get better agents. Don't do deals like this. Force them to pay them off, or don't buy the property. There are plenty of houses out there. Don't get in bad deals with solar panels, and then you are burdened with all of the future hazards of maintaining these things.
Getting solar put on my house, and doing that was taking out a home equity loan. So everything, came back. I've been listening to you guys. I'm on baby step 2, hammering down as much as I can. And I'm kind of at a point where I don't know if I should go through with the solar loan and get the solar put on, because I'll be saving money on utilities. Or if I should just cancel it.
Will, you're too smart for this, buddy. You know too much now.
Yeah.
You're saying it's not too late to back out of this nightmare.
No, I'll lose $300, but it's not a big deal.
I'll pay that stupid tax to not pay a much bigger stupid tax by taking out this HELOC to pay for solar. What's your utility bill?
Well, I'm an HVAC guy, so I put heat pumps in. This month was $512.
Give me the average. If you divided it out over 12 months, it's not $500 a month.
No, if I average it out, it's probably $300.
Okay, that is $3,600 a year. What are you saving?
It'd be $30 a month.
You're saving $30 a month?
$270. Yeah, it'd be $270.
Okay, this hurts my brain. You're saving $30 a month, which is $360 a year. You're saving.
Well, right, but then when the loan's paid off, I won't have to pay for electricity.
Okay, how much? What's the HELOC you were going to take out?
Like total amount?
Yeah.
It was 37, I believe, 37,000.
What's the interest rate? Variable, probably.
No, it was fixed at 3.99.
So you were going to take out a $37,000 loan at 4% interest to save $360 a year.
Well, long term, I'm not going to have an electric bill.
You're not going to be alive by the time you ROI on this thing.
That's the thing. In real estate, everything goes by the numbers. Everything. You leave the numbers, you lose on the deal. You got to know the numbers. And the amount of times I ask somebody, what is your numbers? What is your insurance, your taxes, your maintenance costs, your holding costs on the property? What do you spend on electricity? Most people cannot tell me that. And that's the reason why a lot of people lose money in rentals, short-term rentals, because they don't actually know what the cost of running a property actually is. The same thing on your house. You run a business. You are a business. Your house is a business. It has operating expenses. And very rarely have I seen a loan work on a property for solar panels, because there's too many variables of it to come come out ahead. And I'm just not a fan of it. Not because I'm not green or anything like that. I think it's a great idea to produce your own electricity, but you have to do it correctly.
Y'all, solar panels are a scam. Please don't fall into this trap. I'm all about energy alternatives and saving on my power bill, but their salespeople know all the creative words to use to make you think it's good. I met with someone from a solar company who has been contracted to fix all the problems with these panels, and unfortunately, the grant money ran out. One story he shared with me was going to a house to find out that the panels were never even connected. The solar company just told the customer that sometimes they don't see their bill affected immediately, and some only just see a little dip. It just depends on their situation. What? How can you invest $50,000 or more and not see your bill change? If you're financing the panels, it could take you 15 years or more to pay them off. And I bet you'll notice that that payment is close to your energy bill. How are you saving money when you just replaced one bill for another one?
And that's it. This is the summation of what I've been trying to say. If you are going to do solar panels, you go by a few rules. One, don't put them on your roof, okay? Put them on a shed, put them in a side yard, build a platform, put them out there. Put them somewhere else other than putting holes in your most valuable thing on your house, your roof. Two, I think a lot of these insurance companies are going to come out with a fifth point. They're going to require you to have an inspection of your solar process, your solar panels. Why? Because they want to make sure they're installed correctly. Were they permitted? Is electricity done right? Is it put into the box right? Are they grounded? Are they lightning rods? Are they going to blow off in a windstorm? There's many wind hazards. There's hailstorms. And is your insurance company going to actually insure the panels? I mean, what if you get a hailstorm and they all get damaged? Like, what if they get ripped off in a hurricane or a tornado? A lot of questions there. Make sure you pay cash for them, because if you've got a note on them, odds are you're not going to come out ahead. If you pay cash, cool. The odds of it coming out as a good investment is much higher. If you're going to be living there more than 20 years, great idea. If you're going to be living there 2 years, bad idea. The buyer might not want the solar panels. They might not want to deal with them. They might not want it. They're definitely not going to want that second loan. They're not going to want to qualify for your loan on your panels that are now 10 years old and your roof's 15 or 20 years old. You've got to put the panels on a brand new roof, preferably a steel or a very long life roof. A metal roof, a tile roof, not a flimsy shingle roof, okay? Make sure you do it correctly, and that's my opinion on this. I don't not like them. You have to do them correctly, and you got to think about all the things. Talk to a real estate agent. Am I going to have a problem with this? If you need a lawyer doing the deal with the solar panel company, maybe you do that too, because it seems like a lot of people don't know how to navigate a lot of these solar panel contracts. Do not lease them whatsoever. Do not lease solar panels. That's really all I got on this. I wanted to set this straight. I want to tell you that there's a lot of really bad debt out there on solar panels. Don't do it. I go by the whole situation. I don't do debt. If you got a mortgage, pay it off. Don't go in debt further, especially with a HELOC, to pay for solar panels. Make sure you have the cash to pay for solar panels. Or just figure out how to get your power bill down. I mean, there's many ways, by insulating better or getting a more efficient air conditioning unit or these things, better windows, insulating underneath your house. But be very careful with these panels. They can be a very hard pain and cost you a lot of money. But that's all I got, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below. Happen to be a real estate agent here on the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama. I can help you buy or sell real estate on the Gulf Coast of Florida, Alabama. And my email is down below. If you're looking for a real estate agent anywhere in the country, I'd be happy to help you find one. I have a network all over the United States, and see you guys in the next video.